Hey, welcome back to the Backyard Professor videos. It's been a while since I've made one of these. We're just making it through COVID, and my psychology hasn't been very good, but I'm making a comeback. I haven't done chess for quite a while. I haven't given up on chess. I'll have more chess videos for you. Right now, what I want to do is I'm going to be giving a sermon at the local UU, the Unitarian Universalist Church, here in a couple of weeks, and I thought, hey, I'm going to practice my sermon here for YouTube. What the heck? Don't worry about that. It's not going to be negative. It's actually going to be positive. I was reading in the creation account in the Bible here a little while ago, a few days ago. Genesis chapter 1. Now, and whether you're a Bible reader or not, doesn't matter. It's all right. It's all good. We gotta face it. The Bible is the foundation text of Western civilization. So, that's how it works. Oh, the sun's coming up. Is that glaring in the camera? Doesn't look like it is. So, what I want to do is I was reading in the Genesis account, and it dawned on me, there's a pattern there. I was reading it in the Hebrew. And when you read it in the biblical language, there's a different feeling. There's a different nuance to it than reading it in a translation. There's no question about that. Translations can't ever capture the full richness of the original language. And I know we've all read it. And we've probably all seen this pattern, but it really registered because I was rereading Genesis 1 because of some research I was doing on something else in 1 Kings and 2 Kings and all that jazz, Isaiah, that's a big one. And I just got my just recently, within the last few months, I just acquired my full set of the Jewish Zohar, and that is phenomenal. Oh my goodness. So anyway, I was in Genesis 1, and I noticed this pattern, and it's the, it's the psychology of the record. It's the psychology of the pattern that really caught my attention. And I thought, I really like that. So I'm going to read Genesis 1 to you, and we'll go through it pretty quick. And I'll try to point out, I'll show you this overall pattern that I think is really nice for our psychology. I want to share this psychology with you from Genesis that I think is so remarkably fascinating. Truly, it's quite interesting. So, I would have brought my Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensian text, but it is so huge. I'm getting to be a little bit of an older fart. I'm not an old fart yet, but I'm getting there. So, rather than lugging around this great big book, I've just got it on my phone, and I'm going to read it to you from my phone. This is much lighter, much easier to turn the page. I just flip the screen and so on and so forth. So, anyway, I think that sun angle is getting kind of goofy here. I'm going to switch angles here. I think I'll put it back over here somewhere. So hang on, I'll be right back. Yeah, there, I think that's a little better. I actually found a place I can sit. Hopefully this sharp rock won't hurt me. My wallet protects my keister, Okay, so, and another thing I'm aware of is the ancient Near East, they were basically borrowing from each other. And this Genesis account does have elements of the Ugaritic creation texts, the elements of the Mesopotamian and the Assyrian. You've got the battle of Baal and Mot, the combat of El, the Enuma Elish and things like that. And everyone basically shared and borrowed elements of the creation because they felt that they wanted to get back and start at the very beginning. Yeah, so Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Okay, well, here we are. We are on the Baharetz. We are on the earth. Ve'haaretz haita tohu vavohu. Now, this is one of those Mesopotamian borrowed elements. The earth was void and formless. And v'hoshek al pnei tohom v'ruach Elohim merach hefet. And the darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. So we've got this creation account. Now, this is not a scientific creation account by any means. That's not its intent. It doesn't matter. All of the fuss and argument between, well, is Genesis scientifically correct? I could care less. The psychology here is what I want to share with you today. And I thought it was really interesting when I noticed it finally. I mean, how many times have we read this thing? And I've never caught the psychology until this time reading it through the Hebrew. And it dawned on me, wow, that is really interesting. I want to share that. So, Vayomer Elohim, Yehi Or, Vayhi Or. So God said, there was light, let there be light, and there was light. Vayar Elohim et ha'or ki tov. We're in Genesis 1:4, and we read that God saw the light, that it was good. And it is. I'm in the bright morning sunshine right now. And boy, it's a beautiful morning out here in one of my favorite spots to make videos out here in the beautiful Mother Nature among the rocks and the sagebrush and the trees and the fields. And I get to look out and see the horizon. Here I am on this fabulous earth. You are too, whether you know it or not. We're on a fabulous earth. Sometimes we tend to forget that. And then, of course, God divides the day from the night, and Vayikra Elohim la'or yom ve'la hoshek kara laila. And so here God calls the light day, so he's starting to name things, and the darkness he called night. And that was the end of the evening and the morning of the first day. Vayomer Elohim yehi rakia betok hamayim vayhi mavdil bein mayim lamayim. So, we now have God saying, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. And I want to divide the waters from the waters. Kind of an interesting expression there. And so God made the firmament, the divide between the firmament, from the upper waters and the lower waters. Anciently, it's real interesting because anciently, the heavens, especially by the Egyptians, were thought to be water. Kind of fun to know, isn't it? Kind of interesting. We always think of water as in the ocean or in our rivers or creeks or whatever. It's an earthly element. A lot of the ancient cultures thought the heavens were water. So here we see this idea of God dividing the upper waters up in the firmament from the lower waters down here on the earth. And God calls the firmament the sky, way up there. All stuff up there is the sky. And this was the end of the evening and the morning of the second day. And then Vayomer Elohim Yikavu Hamayim Mi Tachat Hashamayim El Makom Echad Ra Vetare Hayabasha. God said, let the waters gather under the heavens into one place, right? And let there appear to be land. So not only does he create the day and the night, and he divides the waters from the upper waters and the lower waters, now he's dividing the waters here on earth from the dry land. And you go, yeah, I've read that. Yeah, that's right. And of course, he called the dry land earth, Eretz, Ulimikve Hamayim Kara Yamim Vayar Elohim Ki Tov. So God calls the dry land earth, and the collection of the waters he calls the seas, and God saw that it was very good. So we're in verse 10. See, we're almost halfway through, so be patient, because there's a very interesting pattern here that we're already beginning to see that I will emphasize it because Genesis emphasizes it. But it's emphasized, interestingly, in the Hebrew better than the English, and that's what finally caught my eye. How many times have I read this and missed it? We always miss stuff. And then God says to the earth, he says, okay, let's bring forth the grass, the herb-yielding seed, the trees, the fruit trees that yield fruit according to its kind, and let it be on the earth. And it was so. And then he brought forth the earth and the grass and the herbs and all of that according to the kind of the seed which they have, that yields the fruit, the trees that yield the fruit according to its kind, and Vayar Elohim Ki Tov. So again in Genesis 12, God saw that it was good. And this is the end of the evening and the morning of the third day. And then God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens, and let them divide between day and night, and let them be for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years. So he gives us a distinguishing of time for us, a way for us to tell time. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens, to shine upon the earth. And it was so. Vayhihen, it was so. And God made two great lights. Now here he's going to, once again, he makes division, right? He makes two great lights, the Hameorot Hagadolim, Et Hamaor Hagadol. He's going to make two lights, one the greater light to rule the day, the sun, and boy does it rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, the earth, the moon, and he also includes the stars. Hakol Kafim. And God then sets them in the heavens, in the firmament, and that therefore they shine upon our earth. Okay, so we're in verse 18. And the idea is to rule over the day and over the night, and he divides the light between the darkness. This is Hebrew, you kind of feel like, well, he's already said that. Yeah, Hebrew has a poetic repetitiveness to it. It's much more elegant in Hebrew than it is in English. But so again, he's divided the light from the darkness. And Vayar Elohim Ki Tov. God saw that it was good. Verse 18. And there was evening, and there was the morning, the fourth day, the Hadri'i, the fourth day. And God said, let there bound waters, let's put abundance of creatures in the waters. Why not? And in fact, not only creatures in the water, let's have birds for the air too. So he does that. And he says, let them fly across the earth in the firmament through the sky. So he created great sea creatures and everything living that moves, which is bounded by the waters, and all kinds of animals and winged birds to fly through the skies. And Vayar Elohim Ki Tov. God saw that it was good. So now we're beginning to get a variety of different kinds of creatures, both on the land, in the waters, where he had gathered the waters, and in the sky, which was separated from the land. And he saw that it was good. Vayvarek otam Elohim lemor peru urbu umil'u et hamayim. Now here, Vayvarek, God blesses the life. And he says, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the waters, multiply the birds so that you can fill the air on the earth. And there was evening and there was morning, the fifth day, the Hamishi Yom, the fifth day. And God said, let there bring forth creatures from the earth, living creatures, livestock, according to its kind on the earth, and beasts, and even creeping things. So he's showing the variety of the various types of life on the earth according to its kind. And it was so, Vayichen, it was so, Vaya'as Elohim Hayat. And then he made the beast of the earth according to its kind, livestock according to its kind, Lemina, and Ve'et Kal Remes, and everything that creeps upon the face of the earth according to its kind. So he's got all the little lizards and snakes and all that jazz. And Vayar Elohim Kitov. God saw that it was good. That's Genesis 1:25. And then after that, comes the famous part that everybody loves to quote while ignoring all the rest of it. And perhaps that's why we don't see this pattern, this, what I consider to be a really interesting psychological pattern here. This is where he makes man and woman after his own image. Genesis 25 and 26, after our own image and our own likeness. And he creates them after his own image and his own likeness. B'Tselem Elohim bara oto zakar unakava, and he makes them both male and female. And he's done that also with the rest of the creation, with the birds, the beasts, even the plants are divided into male and female. And then, once again, Vayvarak otam Elohim, Vayomer lachem Elohim peru urevu umilu et haaretz vekibsufa uredu bigdat hayam. He blesses them. Here's the blessing. And he said to them, be fruitful and multiply upon the face of the earth also, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowls of the air, and the animals of the birds. Now, us in our limited myopic stupidity thinks that means slaughter it all. That is not what dominion means. Dominion means help Mother Nature flourish. But we like to just murder things because it's fun. Very disrespectful of the creation, so, you know, kill all the elk and what are you hunters going to hunt? Kill all the deer and what are we hunters going to hunt, you know? So, and then God said, behold. Now he's talking to the man and the woman once he creates them. And he says, okay, look, take a look here, man. Natati lakem et kol esev zorea zera asher al pene kol haaretz. He says, I have given you all of the herbs of the field. I've given you all of the seeds that you can use to plant. I have given you all of the tree of every kind with its fruit-bearing capacities, as well as just beautiful trees in general. And I put them on the face of the earth for you. Every tree, after the fruit of its own kind, fruit-bearing, yielding tree, for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the air, he says, verse 30, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, in which has the breath of life, and every green herb on the earth. So here's God pointing stuff out to him, you know, the man and the woman. He's saying, check this out, man. Look, I've given you that and that and that. Oh, look over there. There's a fruit-bearing tree. Oh, hey, check that animal out there. Someday you can have that for lunch. So on and so forth. I've given it to you for food. Now we're in Genesis 1:31, the 31st verse. Vayar Elohim et kol asher asa vehine tov me'od. God saw everything that he had made. Man and woman, the earth, the sky, the lights in the sky, the separation of the night from the darkness. And he saw that it was tov me'od. It was very good. And then that was the end of the evening and the morning, the 6th day. And Vaikuru hashamayim veha'aretz vekol seva'am. And they were finished, the heavens and the earth and all of the hosts of them. The pattern that I discovered came when I read in verse 31, tov me'od. This tov me'od, this adjective of very good, in Hebrew, when I looked it up, tov me'od, where is it? Me'od. This verb means muchness, with great force, absolutely abundantly, just over the top, spectacular. So when God showed the man and the woman the beasts of the field, the trees that they could walk under and enjoy the shade, climb up if you want, build tree houses, play around, pick the fruit, etc., eat the herbs of the field, hunt the animals of the air and the land for food, not for sport, for food. After he tells them all of that, then the record says that God himself, after blessing it all to be fruitful and multiply, the very word, the Hebrew word, is blessed. It's not a curse, it's a blessing. And then he says, all of this is very good. And this adjective, the use of it is diligently or especially or exceedingly. If it's dealing with noise, it's louder and louder and booming. It's a magnificence that it's trying to capture here. The theme here, this overabundant good of life, of living, it just appears to me to be a very positive psychology. It's all been blessed. There's no Gnostic negativity to the material creation in a Genesis account. The Gnostics in the era of Jesus, some of them ended up with a rather negative view of the material world. And they had a pessimistic view of the creation. That's not in this Genesis account, man. This thing is so enthusiastic. This tov me'od. We've won the sweepstakes. We've won the lottery. Here we are. And it's all been given to us for free. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the earth we live on. God isn't the one charging us. We keep charging each other for goods and services. It's all been given to us to enjoy, to thrive with it in abundance, to be optimistic, to be happy. This is it. We've won the sweepstakes. Here we are. Now, that doesn't mean that life is going to be simple and easy and grand and woohoo, yeah. No, there's some good challenges. Not everyone's experience is the same, but we are all in it together. And we are all part of this blessed very goodness. And this is our planet. This is our home, Gaia, Mother Earth. We came from the earth. We are created from the dust of the earth, and the record says we're going to go back to the dust of the earth. And sure enough, when we look out through history, that's what happens. We go back down into the ground, go back to the elements of the earth. We are part and parcel of this fabulous creation. So this optimism is what I wanted to point out in the Hebrew. There were many times at various stages where God was going along making stuff, and he stopped and pondered it and looked out and he goes, oh, that's very good. That's good. That's good. It says that like 5 or 6 times. The grand summation, when he's showing the male and the female that he created, Adam and Eve, is that look at all of this that I've given you, and it's very good. That's cool. That's the optimistic side of things. And when we decide to say, you know what, I'm going to make use of my life. I'm going to do something with myself. I'm going to help others achieve their happiness, etc. Then that's when life for us gets very good. Instead of focusing on me, what do I need? What do I want? What do I desire? It's so much more enjoyable to help others because it's a reciprocal relationship. This Genesis account shows that we are in a reciprocal relationship, not only with one another back and forth, but with the earth. We're in a reciprocal relationship with the sky in relation to the earth. We're in a reciprocal relationship with the sun and the earth. The universe flows through us. The sunlight gives us our vitamin D, our warmth, our heat, etc. We drink the waters of the earth and they go through us. We eat the foods, the plants, the animals, and they go through us. Everything is flowing and moving within and without, in and out, in and out. And it's already been blessed. It's not a curse to be alive, it's a blessing if we know how to adjust our focus. The record shows us how to adjust our focus. This is very good. From my perspective, that means focus on the good. It's not a question, well, is bad going to happen? Yes, of course. It does. Sometimes it's really, really bad. You can't lose the focus of the larger picture, or at least I hope you don't, because the bad helps you strengthen so that we can see how good the good really is. I think that's the intent here. And it's a very positive, upbeat, exciting point of view from my opinion. So that's the lesson. Be grateful you're alive. And like I always say at the end of my videos, you know, be happy, do well, be good, stay safe. Share of yourself. It's really fun. Start smiling at people. For Pete's sake, quit being so dang grumpy all the time. You don't have to be a grump all the time, you know, an old curmudgeon. Smile every now and then. Help out somebody every now and then. You know, be a good neighbor. Doesn't hurt. All it takes is a little time, and then it does make you feel good. And that will come back. It's just a natural rhythm. It's like the tides. They come and go, and they come and go. And we interlace, and then we separate. And then we interlace, and then we separate. So that, to me, is a really cool psychology. I like it, personally. So I would admonish you, if you can, if you will, if you desire, to just try it for a few months and see the changes. Surely. It's a great experiment. I've only been doing that experiment now for 60 years. So far, it's worked. So, okay, you guys, thanks for watching my video. I will return with some more chess. I'm also going to do some more philosophy, you know, videos from from the scripture, from history, from philosophy, if I can find anything worth quoting from them. These days, the philosophers are just dry as dust. I like the ancient philosophers better. At least they had a good solid take on stuff. I think today's philosophers have drifted off into somewhere else. So, all right, I'll catch you in the next Backyard Professor video.